Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Julie Krebanoff with a design team project for Tsunami Rose Designs. For my project, I created a Halloween themed junk journal. I'm really excited to share with you my second design team project for Tsunami Rose Designs, which is an Etsy store. And my original intention for this journal was to make it a two-signature journal. But unfortunately, my signature got way too fat and way too chunky, something that I kind of do a lot. So I ended up making two journals instead of just one. And I decided to decorate the covers pretty similar on both of them. There's just some subtle differences. The signatures have the same number of pages in them, but each page is decorated differently. And so with that being said, I did decide, kind of as I knew that I was making this second one, that I would give away this second one. So this is going to be offered up in a giveaway on my channel very shortly. Today I'm just going to go through the first journal that I created. And next week I will post this journal and then let you know what the details of the giveaway are. So I hope you do come back and check out the second volume of this journal next week. So this one's the first one that I created, and I will be keeping this one for myself. It does measure roughly 8.5 inches long and a little shy of 5.5 this way. The spine is about 1 3/4. I did add some trim to the side, and then also used, I like the velvet or the suede paper to cover my spines just because it's easy to glue on and it never wrinkles. And then on the cover, I did paint it with black gesso. I added a brick stencil with some texture to it. I added this word Exhibit A, which is a Tim Holtz metal piece. This little charm I hung here I made from another Tim Holtz embellishment I picked up at Tuesday morning. And the frame was one that's been in my stash for a long time. I think it was a close to my heart frame. And then also a wood frame that I painted black. I added this skull, and then I did put some kind of a gold color paper behind the eyes and the nose and the mouth just to make it look a little more creepy. And then I added this little cutesy element of a butterfly up here that I painted, and I stamped the spider web on it. I put glossy accents over it and then added a little bit of bling down the middle of it. I really like how it turned out. My back is pretty plain with just the stencil on there, my signature. And I did use an eyelet closure on both sides along with some rayon seam binding that I pick up at the thrift stores. And I used a lot of different kits from Tsunami Rose and then also scrapbooking paper, but all the digitals in this book are from Tsunami Rose. She does have a really nice Witch's Brew kit, which has like all the ephemera, all the pages that you can use. So if you're just starting out making junk journals and you really want to make a Halloween junk journal, I recommend that kit just because it has everything in it. And you could pretty much make a whole journal just out of that. I have a lot of scrapbooking papers. I've been paper crafting for like 20 years, so I have lots of paper. So I kind of mixed and matched her kit in with my papers, and then along with, she has some new Halloween paper sets. She has these really cute mason jar tags, so all sorts of fun stuff that I included from Tsunami Rose Designs in these journals. To begin with, I had this paper bag that already had the skull on it and just added the little flower. I haven't stuck anything in here yet, but I will. And then to start my journal off, I did put in like a window screen, cut out a window screen. I just liked the look of it. It made it look a little creepy, depending upon how you turn it. This is a napkin I decoupaged on, and then I used a little bit of gold paint around it. And then in the background on the manila folder that you can see here, I just did some stenciling. And I kind of did the stenciling and rubber stamping throughout. I added black trim and orange crochet trim throughout the book. Right here I have a little side pocket. This one just came from a scrapbooking paper. It just has the daily curse on it. Just some scrapbooking paper, one of those Tim Holtz photographs of kids dressed up for Halloween. a tag from some leftover Halloween paper I had last year. And then I made this and I stuck in, this is part of the Tsunami Rose Witch's Brew Kit. And I stuck in some of her little mason jar tags. These are big tags that would take up, I have some big ones in here of that, but I did shrink down some of them, which is kind of a fun. You know, if you were to purchase the big tags, then you can also shrink them down and use them different sizes, which is nice. One of the tags from the Witch's Brew Kit. This is one of her, I think they're big element cards from Tsunami Rose, the Halloween ones. Again, I will link all the stuff that I used below in the description box. But what I ended up doing is I printed them, and then I added a page on the back of it, another one of the big element things, and I made it into a pocket. And again, I just used some of that leftover manila file folder and just stenciled on both sides. And I have a lot of stickers that say words on them, like chilling and creepy, so I added those onto the tag. I did a little banner piece up here. I made a little envelope out of one of the Witch's Brew papers from Tsunami Rose. I like how that turned out. And I just have some little index cards that I cut up that I stuck in there. Just leftovers from an old paper pack I had. This is one of Tsunami Rose's designs, a little postcard. She has quite a few of these, so I use them kind of all throughout this journal and the other journal. This is an index card that I just decoupaged some napkin onto it and did some coffee dyeing and also stenciling on there. So on this one, I added a tag that I attached that you can flip over. I didn't do anything here because I figured you could put a picture here, or it was light enough colored that you could actually journal on it. On the back side, there's a spot to journal. And then, of course, I stamped Happy Halloween and did some stenciling. On the front of this, I did create a pocket using, this is one of the Tsunami Rose pieces from the Witch's Brew Kit. I made a pocket, again, from the Witch's Brew Kit, and then she also has some vintage Halloween tags, which I love, and I just stamped on the back sides of it. All of my pages I did ink with black ink. Right here I did die cut all these bats out of the paper. It was some coffee dyed paper. I like how that turned out. Some more stamping in the corners. All my coffee paper that is coffee dyed, and I did coffee dye it twice. The first time I baked it, and then the second time I used a spray bottle, which kind of gives you this look, and then let it dry again. So here's a tag that I sewed into the journal, and I did make a pocket here, and you can see this is one of Tsunami Rose's pieces right here. But I do have that pocket right there to stick stuff in. And then behind it, some more elements from her kit. And then this was just a tag I made out of leftover paper from last year's Halloween journal that I made. I just was really trying hard to use up all my bits and scraps of Halloween paper in these journals. Did some layering down here with a bat and a cutout from the paper. The back side of the tag, I just did a side pocket right there. This is one of Tsunami Rose's pieces. And there's just some scrapbooking paper that I backed with some coffee dyed paper so that you could journal on the back of that one. This is one of Tsunami Rose's paper sets. They're the black with the black lace around them. And I did print them front and back, and then I did kind of cut out along the lace on the sides and ink the edges, so I kind of like how that turned out. Some more stamping and stenciling. Here's what the big tags turn out like, and I did shrink this one down slightly for this journal, but I did glossy accent the spider on the tag, and then I added a little glitter into them, which I don't think will show up on the camera, but there's glitter in the glossy accents. And I did some layering down here with some rubber stamps that I colored in and some pieces left over from other Halloween projects. Another one of the vintage tags where I stamped on the back side. And then another one of her postcards from the kit. Here's a flip up on this page, I think. No, maybe not. Maybe that one's not a flip up. I glued that one down. But I did some layering right here with scrapbooking paper. Made a bookmark out of paper from leftover from last year. And then another one of her vintage tags. I really like these tags. You could also easily use a lot of these ones in, like if you were into like making Gothic journals, a lot of those ones would, those tags in that set would be really nice for that. Right here I have some acetate pieces that I picked up at a garage sale last year that are Halloween ones, and like this one says Hocus Pocus poison on it, and so I just made it into a pocket with a little tag in there that I stuck in. This is an envelope that I did fold over, so that there's a pocket here, and then I cut off the top, so then there's also a pocket up here just of a tag that I made out of scrapbooking paper. Another element from her kit that I made into a tag. And then here's part of the Witch's Brew paper set that she has, and I just I double printed it on both sides and just added it into some of the pockets. So I kind of have these throughout the journal just as extra writing spaces for journaling. Some more stamping, and there's that orange crochet trim. Right here I did find some tulle last year that has spider webs on it. So I just added that. I thought that was kind of neat. So once you actually journal on there, you'll be able to see it behind the tulle. Another one of Tsunami Rose. This is one of her paper sets. I love this one. I would have used this one in my journal last year if Daisy had that paper out last year, but she didn't. I did use a lot of her Witch's Brew kit last year also in my Halloween junk journal that I made. I really love this kit. Just another scrapbook paper that I lined with some coffee paper. Another one of her vintage tags, Halloween tags. A couple more of the postcards from Tsunami Rose, part of the Witch's Brew kit. I did stamp on most of them on the back. Otherwise, I just inked the edges with black ink. And then this one does open right here. This was a piece I had left over from last year, so I just added it in. It was just a little embellishment that I made for Halloween. So this does open up so you could journal in here. Then I did make this as a paper clip that I made with just a sticker and some scrap paper. And then behind it I have another one of the postcards and one of the tags, or one of the mason jars that I made into a tag stamped on the back side of it. Then I used some of that tulle up here as the fiber. This is part of the Witch's Brew kit right here, this background paper. And then on the inside, I again stamped, or not stamped, but printed the Witch's Brew on both sides of the paper. So a nice spot to journal. And I did use spiders for the ends of my signature. Little pocket I made with some of the elements of the Witch's Brew kit. Some more of her paper from the Witch's Brew that you can journal on. Another one of the postcards. Side tuck, vintage tag, another one of Tim Holtz's pictures. some more of the paper, one of the paper sets, Halloween paper sets that she has, and again I printed on the front and the back side. Some more stamping on the back half of that envelope. Again, I created a pocket. There's a pocket at the top with the tag in it, and then when you turn it over, I have another one of those acetate pieces that you can lift up. Last time I made it into a pocket on the other side, but this one I created it with washi at the top so you could lift it up and journal behind it. Here's a top tuck spot, just an index card that I decorated with some decoupage napkin, and I did some stenciling and coffee dyeing on it. Right here's a belly band, and I kind of created a little card here that you could open up and then journal on it. And it just fits back in the little belly band right there. Part of that paper set with the lace around it. I love the skeleton image. One of those mason jars that I shrunk down, and this time instead of making it into a little tag, I just added a little bat to the top of it. And this one I did make a flip up so you can journal on the inside of that. And then just some little tags or tickets that I made with some rubber stamps that say Fright Night on them. Another stencil, or not stencil, but die cut that I use up at the top of the paper so that you can kind of see through. This bingo card is part of, I believe, the Witch's Brew kit from Tsunami Rose, and so I added it to a glassine bag and decorated it. Another one of the pieces from the Witch's Brew kit, and I added it to this tag stamped on the back side with a little Snoopy image. So this whole journal is kind of full of creepy and cute. So behind the glassine bag, I have a little tuck spot again here. And this top part was a bag topper that I had gotten and reused. Someone had gifted me something in the bag, and so I just saved the bag topper, so I reused it. And then behind this black layered piece right here, there is another tag up here. And again, I just used leftover scrapbooking paper left over from last year to cut all those tags out. I was trying to use up that paper and use up all my scraps. So here I did some layering again, kind of on a little music sheet, and some elements from some scrapbooking paper, but this pocket does open, and I do have some blank pieces of paper in there. And then just some coffee dyed paper that I stamped on for writing. Another one of those big element cards from Tsunami Rose, the Halloween ones that I made into a page, and then you can pull out another spot to journal on. And then we're getting almost to the end here. So here I do have another one of Tsunami Rose's pieces from the Witch's Brew, which then I created so I could open it up and journal on the inside. So I did some stamping and stenciling again. And then it is a belly band, and I just stamped some rubber stamp images of mine that I plan on going back in and coloring eventually. So I just stuck those in there for now. And then kind of the last page here, again, a crow that was part of a napkin that I decoupaged onto the stenciled and coffee dyed paper. And then here's that back part of the screen. And again, it kind of makes that image look a little creepy. I didn't do anything to the back inside cover yet. So that's my finished journal. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journal that I created. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. I do appreciate all the comments that you guys leave me. And I will link all of Tsunami Rose's information below so you guys can easily find her. She does have a blog. She does have a YouTube channel. She has her Etsy store. And she also has a Facebook page, so I will leave all of that information below. And don't forget to check back to my channel next week for volume 2, which is this one. Again, very similar, but a few subtle details like the charm and the purple butterfly up here. because I will be giving away this one next week. So please make sure you check back and have a wonderful day.